a soft copy, please just email me your, both of you guys, just email me, send me a blank email and I'm happy to send you a soft copy as well. My email's on the card. Did I give you a card?
Yeah.
No, did I give you a card? Yeah, it's on the bottom anyway.
It is the same name that in the other one, so.
Sorry, Lucia, did you have a question?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just wanted to ask, in terms of the legal requirements, the cultural covenant and the reasonable access to the public, are there specific plans at this point in terms of community events for the broader Leichhardt community?
Yes. So do you have a copy of our business plan?
Yes,
I send
do.
you that? So look, it's detailed in there in relation to some piazza events, market events, school events, local theatre groups, local productions, and different tiered levels. So some at a cost recovery and some at no charge at all, depending on the level that group can afford to pay. It's about having access, not about not a profit making exercise for us.
Yep.
So yes, there are. But I think all the details in there.
Yeah.
Well, that was the question. Some parties involved do not want you to know.
Look, there's been a lot said and a lot reported in the media. So, look, I think the administrators may not have informed the community of the fact that we have put in a signed contract by the due date. We did pay the deposit. It was in excess of what was asked of us. We were asked to submit a signed contract that had to be in excess of $2.6 million by close of business on the 26th of May, which we did.
And there's a copy of the letter there.
Yeah, so that was, this was at about 4 p.m. on that day where we submitted this, and we beat that, and it's quite public, and we're at $2.65 million. So I don't know how well that's been reported.
What's been your sense of the community reaction in Leichhardt in terms of your taking over the cultural centre?
We have a petition of 3,000 signatures, not all of whom live in Leichhardt. I think it's been quite mixed, and because of the fact that some things haven't been reported accurately, I think that skewed people's ideas. At the same time, there's different interests. So there's interests of the commercial, the retailers, and there's interest from the residents, and then there's interest from the broader community, and then there's interest from the Italian community. But I feel that the support we've received, and we are receiving, has been overwhelmingly positive.
Can I ask
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
What's your plan in terms of the petition? Is it still gathering signatures, and do you plan to present it to councillors, or?
It was sent to Leichhardt Council and SV partners. Probably about 6 weeks ago. They're still coming in, but not as fast as they were. We had a deadline on it because we wanted to, present it to SV partners. But yes, they are still coming in, not as quickly. Yeah.
Where are things at in terms of the court cases?
I have no idea. Yeah, we're not a party to any of the court cases. I know there are 2 separate proceedings. But we're not a party to either of those, so unfortunately, I can't give you more info on that.
In the email that was sent out yesterday, it mentioned the possibility of discussing a reasonable lease with ACA. What do you see as reasonable in terms of that lease?
Okay, as recently as I think Tuesday, I've had contact with Dean Carey in relation to opening that door. I attended a public meeting that Dean held last week, where I made it quite known that that door was not closed. When we say a reasonable lease, there has to be reasonable access to Coasit and other community groups, to schools and to council, and there also have to be reasonable lease terms. So and the lease not based on what was signed with SV partners. It'd have to be, as back to the drawing board.
What sort of feedback did you get from him when you met? Like, is it?
Really, yeah. Look, positive. So he came to see me, to personally invite me to the meeting. So we had a coffee and a nice exchange, and went to the public meeting. We've had some email contact in relation to progressing that. So we're really at the stage of now needing to sit down and see if we can take it further. And and kind of start again. But look, today's about the ownership of the centre. We see ACA as, if they're willing to and we're able to negotiate something as a part of the centre moving forward.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Who is stopping the procedure?
Where's it being blocked?
Yeah.
Well, as Alexis mentioned, there's the legal proceedings, so I imagine that's probably having something to do with the delay. All I know in terms of the facts that I can put to you is what we presented when we presented it. We've got a cheque that's sitting on the administrator's desk, and that's been there for 3 months. So there's got to be something between. The administrator ultimately is the one charged with that responsibility. So I would assume there's some blockage happening at that end between the administrator and, I suppose, the legal proceedings. Oh, we've got some coffee for you. I hope.
Can't have an Italian press conference without
I
coffee.
hope.